Tired of the negativity? Looking for a shot of optimism? Well, I have an inspiring story to make you smile right after this. This episode of Misfits and Crackpots is brought to you by the Well-Crafted Story Workshop. Struggling to connect with your audience and attract new clients? Transform your speaking skills at the Well-Crafted Story Workshop with Coach Jimmy Hayes Nelson and yours truly, Dr. Danny Brissell. In just 2 days, master the art of crafting compelling speeches that convert listeners into clients. Whether in-person or virtual, you'll get personalized attention in an intimate group, learning not just from expert coaches, but from fellow entrepreneurs. Don't let another opportunity slip away. Get your free story blueprint today at wellcraftedstoryworkshop.com and turn your story into your most powerful business tool. Your success starts here. Visit wellcraftedstoryworkshop.com now. You're just a well-crafted story away from 7 figures. Hello there, my friend, and welcome to Misfits and Crackpots, short, inspiring stories for busy people. I'm Dr. Danny Brissell. This is a podcast for those interested in extraordinary stories about ordinary people and companies. Consider it your dose of positivity and inspiration for the week. W. Edwards Deming said, "You can only elevate individual performance by elevating that of the entire system." This week's success strategy: elevate others. Draw a 1-inch line on a piece of paper. Take a moment to think about what you can do to make it look smaller or less than it is. Did you erase some of it? Perhaps you tried to fold it in half. Maybe you placed the paper further away. Any of those ideas would work. The problem with all of these strategies is you focused on the 1-inch line. Now, draw a 6-inch line beside the 1-inch line. Does the 1-inch line look smaller or less than it is now? See, too often people falsely believe that they can only succeed by diminishing the accomplishments and contributions of others. The quarterback gets the kudos while the offensive linemen block in the trenches without accolades. The CEO takes a bow while his engineers work day and night to develop the technology. The entertainer accepts the award without acknowledging the contributions of his fellow cast and crew. And often, society embraces some without realizing their feat could not have been possible without another. In a world where the extraordinary often goes unnoticed, nestled in the annals of history lies the tale of Rosalind Franklin, a woman whose brilliance was as radiant as the very structures she illuminated. She was born into a prominent London banking family in 1920. Rosalind's journey began with the curiosity of a child who looked at the world and asked why and how. Her affluent Jewish parents, advocates of education and equality, nurtured this curiosity. They believed in her, even when the world was not ready to. From early childhood, Rosalind showed exceptional scholastic abilities. When Rosalind was only 6, one of Rosalind's aunts described her as alarmingly clever. "She spends all her time doing arithmetic for pleasure," the aunt said, "and invariably gets her sums right." At age 11, Rosalind attended St. Paul's Girls' School, one of the few girls' schools in London that taught physics and chemistry. There, she excelled in science, Latin, and sports. At the top of her class, she won a university scholarship in 1938, but her father asked her to give the scholarship to a deserving refugee student. Stepping into the hallowed halls of Cambridge University, a place where few women had tread before, Rosalind delved into the world of physical chemistry, her mind a whirlwind of atoms and X-rays. But the path was anything but easy. Rosalind faced the twin challenges of being a woman in a man's world and a Jew in a time of rampant anti-Semitism. As World War II raged, her skills found a new purpose. She worked on the British Coal Utilization Research Association, studying the porosity of coal, a task crucial for wartime efforts. Her efforts helped the Allies classify coals and accurately predict their performance for fuel purposes and for for production of wartime devices such as gas masks. This work, though far from the glamour of scientific breakthroughs, was her first dance with destiny, leading her to the technique she would later use in her most important research. After the war, Rosalind asked a friend for help and to let her know of job openings for a physical chemist who knows very little physical chemistry, but quite a lot about the holes in coal. This led her to Paris, a city of light and learning. Finding a job in a French lab, she learned X-ray crystallography, a technique enabling scientists to capture images of structures too minute to be observed with the naked eye or even with most microscopes. She honed her skills and eventually mastered this technology, publishing several papers on her research. This work has become part of the mainstream of the physics and chemistry of coal and carbon. In 1950, destiny called her back to England. A professor asked Rosalind to build an X-ray crystallography lab at King's College, London. He neglected to inform a male scientist who was already there that Rosalind would be in charge of the lab. Consequently, the two had a rocky start and never truly managed to collaborate harmoniously. It did not matter. Here, Rosalind would change the world. With an assistant, Rosalind captured photograph 51, an X-ray diffraction image, a cross of shadows and light that held the secret of life. But in a twist of fate, her discovery was snatched from her grasp. Unbeknownst to Rosalind, the man who was told he had to work for her got a hold of the photo and shared it with another scientist. Soon, that scientist and his partner used the photo to help advance their research. The photo revealed a shape that was key to their understanding, and they quickly published a paper on their findings, just weeks before Rosalind had planned to publish her own paper. Rosalind left the toxic environment of her lab for another job. James Watson and Francis Crick, names known to every student of biology, used Rosalind's photograph, without her knowledge, to construct their famous model of DNA. They unveiled the double helix, a shape now synonymous with the essence of life. Meanwhile, Rosalind's role remained in the shadows. Rosalind Franklin continued her work undeterred, moving on to unravel the structure of viruses, a task no less monumental. But fate, it seemed, had a cruel twist in store. In 1958, at the age of 37, Rosalind succumbed to ovarian cancer, a life of brilliance cut tragically short. For years, Rosalind Franklin's story was a whisper in the halls of science, overshadowed by the accolades given to others, as Watson and Crick were awarded the Nobel Prize in 1962. But history, like science, seeks the truth. Ironically, it was James Watson who revealed Rosalind's role in the discovery of the double helix in a book he authored in 1968. Today, we recognize Rosalind Franklin not just as a woman in science, but as a towering figure of resilience, brilliance, and unwavering dedication to the pursuit of knowledge. She was a woman who looked at the building blocks of life and saw not just molecules, but possibilities. A woman who faced adversity and turned it into opportunity. Her story is a beacon, shining through the mist of history, reminding us that sometimes the most extraordinary tales are hidden in the footnotes, waiting to be told. See, friend, inspiration is all around us. You just have to look for it. Thanks for listening. Join us next week for another inspiring story about misfits and crackpots. Misfits and Crackpots is a production of Success Media, produced by Terrence Wishner. Sound effects by Alessandro Lucati, courtesy of Pixabay. Thank you for tuning in. If you loved today's story, there's so much more to explore in the book Misfits and Crackpots by yours truly, Dr. Danny Brissell. Grab your copy now on Amazon and dive deeper into the extraordinary lives of those who dared to change the world. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share the podcast with fellow misfits who love inspiring stories. See you next time.